There's a saying that anyone in America can grow up to be president. While some may have stopped believing that, and while certainly not just anyone in reality can become president, more of our leaders than you may imagine come from humble beginnings. Some of our greatest leaders started with almost nothing, in fact. Let's take a closer look at some presidents from the past few decades whose journeys didn't begin with wealth or connections. Ronald Reagan grew up in Dixon, Illinois, in a tiny apartment above a general store. His family wasn't rich, and he even joked about being the only kid in town whose parents couldn't afford to buy him a bike. But Reagan didn't let that hold him back. As a teen, he worked summers as a lifeguard, saving 77 lives over 7 years. Later, he climbed the ranks as a radio announcer and Hollywood actor before entering politics, and eventually becoming known as the Great Communicator and one of the most beloved presidents in U.S. history. Jimmy Carter? He grew up in Plains, Georgia, on a peanut farm. His family didn't even have electricity until he was a teenager. Carter worked the fields alongside his parents, learning the value of hard work early on. Later, he earned a spot at the U.S. Naval Academy, became a nuclear engineer, and returned to Georgia to rebuild his family farm. His empathy and connection to everyday Americans helped him rise all the way from Plains, Georgia, to the White House. Richard Nixon was born in Yorba Linda, California, in a house his father built himself. Nixon's family ran a grocery store and gas station where young Richard worked long hours while also excelling in school. Scholarships got him to college and then law school, and his tireless work ethic carried him through World War II, a meteoric rise in Congress and to the vice presidency, and ultimately to the presidency itself. His story proves that determination can break down any barrier. And then there's Harry Truman. Born in a small Missouri town, he spent much of his early life on the family farm, plowing fields and working dawn to dusk. Truman later opened a haberdashery selling men's clothing, but it failed during the Great Depression. Did he give up? Not a chance. He turned to politics, rising through the ranks to become vice president and eventually president, where he made some of the toughest decisions in U.S. history, like dropping the atomic bomb to end World War II. These presidents didn't come from wealth or privilege. They came from hard work, resilience, a little bit of luck, and an unwavering belief in the American dream. Now, who will be next to prove that anyone can become president of the United States? Dream big, work hard, and maybe one day we'll call you Mr. or Madam President.